Hello, Facebook land. Phoenix here, showing up. Yeah, so today is yet another day dipping into the wells of confusion and grief and uh, hearing all of the voices inside, the ones that try and sabotage self from trusting and showing up in the world. They've been pretty loud this morning. And as much as um, would rather just curl up and definitely not be showing up here, this is part of my intention for this particular offering is showing up behind the mask, like unpolished and raw, despite what my mind tells me or what, yeah, the part of myself that thinks she needs to be polished and put together in order to be validated in the world. And that's definitely been a big lesson for me over these past months and years of just continuing to dive deeper in continuing to dive deeper into source, that like unconditional love and trust and support that's inside of me, and show up no matter what. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I don't come on here having like an agenda or knowing exactly how it's going to go, but that's part of the experiment. Like, that's part of this social experiment, is to just keep putting myself out into the world, into life, because this is where I grow. This is where I grow. I grow when I'm standing on my own edge of comfort. A dear friend called it once the stretch zone, and I've definitely been getting stretched. It seems like it just doesn't stop. Life doesn't stop stretching me. And there's moments like this morning, um, yeah, just really feeling like I'm so tired. I'm so tired of like this meeting of all of these parts of self that feel so broken and unresolved, and yeah, in one sense it's a choice to just kind of show up into life and choose the thoughts that are positive and self-affirming, which I'm very, very good at. And again, it's like there is this balancing that's happening, where it's like the stronger the this higher self becomes, it's almost like the pull of the darkness is equally as strong. It's kind of like, no, you're not going, you're not flying, you're not rising, like stay here. And the will and the effort and the commitment to self that is required to keep on rising, even in the face of all of those tired parts of self. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And how are those darker parts of self actually catalyzing the light inside to shine brighter? I heard recently this beautiful reminder that if it wasn't for the depths of the dark night sky, the stars wouldn't be able to shine as brightly as they do. Like, we don't see the light of the stars in the daytime because the sky is full of light. Though it's in the darkness that we see the light of those stars. And it's such a beautiful reminder and such a beautiful metaphor for self, like we're not taught to embrace the darkness, in at least not in the society that I was raised in. There's this kind of drive towards the light and positivity and joy and happiness, and there's not really the um yeah, like I haven't really seen much that it's like we need to go through this, like these dark portals of self, or these dark nights of the soul, in order to find our like true authentic joy, which is what I'm really interested in. It's like those momentary um kind of like, oh, like band-aids that bring a moment of kind of joy and satisfaction aren't as exciting and interesting to me anymore as like finding this deep sense of okayness and satisfaction and acceptance of what is. There's so much darkness in the world, and I feel like it really is an invitation to myself and to others to really keep on sourcing that inner light, to shine through these challenging times, these times in transition. And that takes so much courage and takes so much strength. And it really, it's like, forging this sword, like in the depths of the fire, and like the beating that spirit does, like hammers our sword, hammers us to like really forge this precious instrument of truth and beauty. And that, even though in moments like today it's just like, fuck, I just want to give up. There's like so much inside that's just like, keep going. There's something beyond anything I've ever known that continues to call me forward and towards it, even though I have no idea what this force is. Hey, David. Even though I have no idea what this force is that keeps kind of like calling me in. Like last night and even this morning, it's like I feel like sometimes there's like this carrot that's dangling in front of me. It's just kind of like, come, try me, and it's just like I can't really get it, can't really grasp it, yet it keeps calling me forward, and I don't know what that's about, though. It's this inner calling that I can't deny anymore. Yeah, maybe someday you can come on here live. I'd love it, David. Um, yeah, so one of the things I was having a bit of a moment around this morning is these games that I feel like I'm part of me thinks I need to play, like these games of, how to get my work out there in the world, how to get more clients to come like work with me or study with me or receive some of the offerings, and the whole social media game. And but I just don't have a desire to do that. It's almost like all of the games that I feel I've been invited to play just don't resonate with me, and then it causes me to feel like I'm not doing something that I should be doing. And ultimately I feel like there's a new game, a new game that I'm learning to play on my own at the moment, and with those people who do come to play with me, which I'm so deeply, deeply grateful and appreciative of. People who are willing to stop playing the games that we think we need to play in order to like really remember this, like this path that's laid before us, you know this path that maybe we don't have a map for. It's like I can seek and I can grasp and I can search and I can hungrily look for the map, though there is no map for what is emerging through me and many of us in the world right now, this new way of being, this new way of thinking, this new way of feeling, this new way of expressing, this new way of showing up for ourselves and one another and this earth. And how willing are any of us, how willing am I to just keep on, like, blindly walking, just taking one step at a time and trusting that the step will appear. It's like I take this next step and trusting that the next step of the path will appear, because it's so much easier in moments to just give up and kind of like just wait for it all to come. Though I feel like it's this dance, it's this dialogue that I continue to have with spirit, this dialogue I continue to have with life, that I trust you, life. And so I take this step forward into the unknown, and like am continuously invited into like opening myself to receive the grace of life that's just like, oh, here, I'm meeting you. It's like this courtship with spirit, this courtship with life, where I'm being invited to let go of any notion or idea or kind of mental constructs that I might have, that I think I know or I even need to know. And can I just simply continue to lean deeper into the resources and the tools and the practices that connect me to something bigger? And I do, even though it doesn't always feel easy. Being committed to a path of spirit, being committed to the path of my own soul emerging is not an easy path. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. And yet we're all made to follow our own inner map and the path that's being laid before us. And fortunately, there are other people walking these paths that we can look towards for inspiration, though nobody can like show us or tell us what's uniquely true for any of us. In a sense, I feel like we're all kind of trailblazing, yet the beauty of kind of allowing ourselves to be received and to receive one another and others is that we realize that we're all blazing different parts, like we're all blazing the trail together. And can we allow ourselves to step back and allow others to take those steps forward, and then we step forward so that others can take a rest and step back. And this is the kind of game that I'm really interested in playing, and the kind of playmates that I'm interested in welcoming more deeply into my inner circle. People that are courageously walking this path of the unknown, and yeah, there's so many people that I look towards for inspiration, that I see as such courageous beings and doing such great work in the world, and allowing myself to stay inspired, and rather than like comparing or contrasting or like diminishing the gifts that I have to share. How can we work together to keep showing up and inspiring and encouraging and empowering one another to keep showing up? So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm showing up. And again, like I said, this coming here once a week live, even if I don't have somebody to interview, it's like, it's not about anybody else other than me just giving myself that permission to keep showing up. It's edgy to like come on live not knowing who might be here, or like who's going to receive, or what might come out of my mouth. That's the thing. It's like I just want to practice. I want to practice getting out of my own way and giving myself this space to share what's uniquely moving through me, with this deeper understanding and inner knowing that, you know, the reflection that I hold might be of service and support to somebody else. And also that, you know, life and the way that it meets us is so nonlinear. It's like me showing up might not be met so directly, though in some twisty, curvy way, it's gonna meet me. And am I willing to keep showing up and playing this game, you know, where I don't know the rules, where the rules just keep on changing and shifting and morphing and keeping me on my toes, keeping all of us on our toes. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, this morning I had a really deep dip into my own, like, dark, hellish space of wanting to give up and definitely not show up. Um, oh, yeah, you know, it's like, do we have a choice? I guess ultimately there is this notion that I have choice, that I can hide or I can do something other than show up, but I don't really think there's a choice anymore. I actually feel like there is this, it's a choiceless choice. You know, some part of me has already chosen to go forward. Some part of me has already chosen to create the space for this deeper intelligence that moves through my heart and my soul and my body to emerge into my life. And I'm just kind of here, wow, witnessing it. And it gets really intense and really scary down here, especially when, like, you know, one of my teachers calls it the lower mind, you know, the very egoic um, self that holds the traumas and holds the wounds. And she's just like, "Ah, no." Though simultaneously, it's so wild. Like, simultaneously, there's this higher mind, this higher self that's just there, like, you've got this. Keep going. Keep showing up. You're doing great, even though yeah, life in moments might not reflect the greatness or the miracles that are, like, around and surrounding. It's almost like sometimes I become so jaded and kind of fraught with illusion and confusion that I can't actually see so clearly all the beauty and magic that is just here dancing with me. And so, yeah, I don't claim to have it figured out. And I've yet to meet anybody who has it all figured out, though I am really interested in just continuing to say yes. Just continuing to say yes to, like, the unraveling of these wounded parts that maybe are mine, maybe they're my ancestors, maybe they're collective. I don't really need to know. I just know that in some way, at some point, I've said yes to this journey of being that star that shines so brightly in the depths of the dark night sky. And it might not be a light that anybody ever sees, though I do know that people see it. And it's not even about that. You know, I don't keep showing up in life so that other people can, like, congratulate or validate me. You know, this is such a journey between me and all these parts of self and the soul and the psyche and the wounded child and the medicine woman. They're all, like, dancing together. And I'm learning to dance with all those parts of myself. Yeah, I have a feeling we're all learning to dance with those parts of ourselves. And it's a humble journey, you know. It's not so, like, frilly and fancy and shiny all the time. You know, I feel like when someone sees my shine, They might not necessarily have any idea of the depths, like what's beneath the surface, and all of the efforts, and all of the purging and tears and anger and confusion that have like gone into gone into polishing the moment of shine that someone might see in an offering or in a class or in a session. Though I'm privy to all of that, just like you're privy to all of that inside of yourself. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. Yeah, so that's all I have to say for now. It's just showing up. How do each of us continue to say yes to showing up for our own unique journey? It's like, yeah, my life relative to so many other people in the world is so, so blessed. I'm so, so privileged. I'm so blessed, so privileged compared to some in the world. Like, I've got it so great. Though I'm not everybody else, it's like I'm given my own criteria, my own fuel to metabolize and digest, and that's my own unique journey. Just like each and every one of us have our own unique criteria that's here to grow us and polish us and hammer us and forge us so that we can ultimately shine our own unique light and share our own unique truth and sing our own unique song into the world. And I'm not gonna give that up. This kind of this chosen name that you see here on Facebook, One Song, Phoenix One Song, that's my prayer. It's like I know that I'm part of a bigger symphony that is just infinitely playing here in the cosmos, here on this earth. And yet within that one song, like I've got my own unique piece. I've got my own unique song. I've got my own unique chord, my own unique string or chord that like I am so devoted to mastering and expressing so that I can contribute to this bigger song that we're all a part of. Yeah. So I'm going to keep on focusing on this piece, this unique piece that's here inside of me, and keep learning how to harness it and hone it and wield it in the world to contribute something that most humans on this earth may never even get to see, though I know that I'm showing up because I want to see it. and and I trust that the people that are drawn to singing and harmonizing along with me, you know, we'll get to sing and play together. So thank you. Blessings. I'll be back next week.